They are good. And we talk about the Chiefs because Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, Travis Kelce, tight end, but basically receiver, Demarcus Robinson, a very confident target for Patrick Mahomes, and then Mecole Hardman, the guy they drafted in round 2 this year, who's been a great return specialist, but also great as a receiver. And then the 49ers.
Yeah.
They haven't been passing much, so we aren't paying attention to the likes of Emmanuel Sanders and Deebo Samuel and George Kittle as a pass catcher. We think of him now as a blocker. He's had some huge games this year. The 49ers have weapons if and when they choose to throw.
They do. They're explosive at that position. You know, they use their receivers a little bit in a different light or fashion than the Kansas City Chiefs, but you know, we got to witness those guys in person. First off, like when you talk about the 49ers wide receivers, Deebo Samuel, he's a wide receiver in a running back's body, and that's why you can guarantee Shanahan, he's going to try to throw him the ball and throw him the ball over the middle because he's so physical and has that fearlessness we talked about, but he's going to get a few carries. I mean, I would be shocked if we don't see that toss reverse we've seen, or a few tosses or speed sweeps, whatever it is, just to get Deebo Samuel the ball. And it's, again, another way Shanahan keeps people off his run game and keeps you honest in the pass game, everything about it. But I certainly feel like the 49ers receivers have been slighted in the whole conversation. And I don't know why. I have a feeling there's, I know why.
When you're not throwing the football.
Yeah.
You're not going to talk about the receivers.
Well, no, you're right. But I was going to say, like, I don't know why. I have a gut feeling with, just all the attention on the 49ers run game. And I would imagine coming out early in the game, everybody in Kansas City's coaching staff is probably thinking a lot like Tony Dungy is, or the general public to a degree, like, hey, you're going to stop the 49ers run game. And I would think Shanahan's going to have a few things, fail-safe plans and such as to combat the over-aggressive style and scheme that Spagnuolo might bring to the table as far as stopping that run game, to where I think we're going to see more Jimmy G passing in this game than I think we're expecting. That's all I'm saying.
How many attempts? What's your over-under?
Yeah, when I say that to him, like I'm going to say – I think we're going to see somewhere between 25 and 30 attempts.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
I do. I could see a game where maybe he's like 20 for 28 or somewhere in that range. It's not going to be opening it up, we're in the shotgun, things like that. But I wouldn't be surprised if we came out in this football game and like 10 out of the first 15 plays are pass plays that Shanahan's designed. He goes, oh, man, let me get my guy in a rhythm. I've talked about him a lot with these plays the night before the game, the meetings, like the first 10 and all that, to where he can also feel comfortable and trust, Jimmy G to go, I've thoroughly coached him on these plays, and these are slam dunks, and I've made it really apparent to him, like, you throw it to this guy, you throw it out, or it's from 1 to 2, and you throw it out of bounds, whatever it may be. I feel like you might see a curveball that way.
Kendrick Bourne's a guy we haven't discussed.
Yeah, right.
And he was the most impactful receiver so far in the postseason, because before the 49ers shifted to run game almost exclusively, Bourne had touchdown reception, first score of the game against the Vikings. He had 2 other key catches on third down in that game, and he actually caught the last pass before Kyle Shanahan decided, that was kind of a close call there. Bourne made a great play on it. Let's just run the ball, and 16 runs later, the game was over.
You're right. He is the guy we don't talk about, and he's been a big part of the offense, really, last 7, 8, 9 games of the year, where he really, seemed to get the trust of Jimmy Garoppolo, and Shanahan likes him. And again, that's the other element. We'll see. I think we could – this game, I think the thing that's so fascinating to me is – I feel like it can go so many different ways. That's where, like last year, I wasn't expecting 13-3 game, but I didn't think it was going to be an offensive explosion type of football game. Like this year, I feel like we could see 41-38. We might see 20-17. I just feel like there's so many different ways it can go. And because of the offensive coordinators in Reed and Shanahan, I just feel like there's going to be things we're not expecting in their offensive game plans that are going to just throw us all off.
I think if the 49ers try to deliberately slow the game down offensively and play that deep shell, force the Chiefs to be deliberate too, that's going to keep it close, and it's going to keep it low scoring.
Sure.
If that's the theory that they proceed with. And I'm fascinated by the possibility, and we were talking about this earlier, that Andy Reid will decide it's time to basically switch it up dramatically and run the ball.
Right.
And if they're going to be out there programmed to try to stop the pass, and they're going to be playing deep zones. And if they can pop through that first level, because those defensive linemen are thinking, we got to get to Patrick Mahomes, and the RPOs.
Yeah.
I think it was Coach Dungy that mentioned how critical the RPOs are going to be in this game.
Right.
That if you do give Patrick Mahomes that ability, because it's the whole purpose of the RPO is to continue the guessing game for the defense.
Sure.
Run versus pass
Right.
as long as possible and get them to commit to a run before you decide to pass,
right.
or to a pass before you decide to run. That could be
right.
a very powerful weapon.
It definitely can. I think that would be a weapon for the Kansas City Chiefs. And then to your point, too, with like the pass rush and the run game, you're right. And that's why, again, I go back to like what I expect from this game is to see things that I don't expect. And, a great way to slow down a fearsome pass rush is to have different run plays where, for lack of getting too technical, a lot of what I would call draw plays, like draws, where it kind of looks like a pass, the tackles let the defensive ends fly upfield, right? And then Mahomes kind of for one or two steps, like, I'm dropping back, and then it's, oh, here you go, Damian Williams. I think there could be some run plays that way with the Kansas City Chiefs, where they kind of make it look like a pass at set hut, and now, D Ford, Bosa, they're all going, we got to get to Mahomes, and you lose your gaps in the run game integrity. And now it's, whoa, yep, we're not passing it. I'm sprinting out to the left, but I gave it to Damian Williams, and now he's cutting up the middle, and you guys have parted because you're in pass rush mode. I would be shocked if we don't see a few of those runs from the Kansas City Chiefs.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.